Hey everybody, hope you're all having a solid day today. And for this week's review, I travel back to Japan, where keeping your job is more important than a giant monster. And this time, I'm not alone. Alright folks, welcome to episode 2 of Records of Japan here. And when I said in the intro I wasn't alone, I am not alone. I'm joined by fellow Godzilla fan and heavy Instagrammer.
Yeah, W.O.J 1974 on Instagram.
Named after one version of Godzilla that makes Godzilla king of these hands instead of king of the monsters. Like, seriously, that's really what he is. So, for this review, we are taking a look at Godzilla's second outing, Godzilla Raids Again here. There's two things about this movie that are okay, for a movie that was made in 6 months, like Toho, like I know the first movie would made a shitload of money, but damn, they spit this movie out in 6 months, like planning, scripting, building the sets, making the suits. Like, I know Japanese people work fast when it comes to making stuff, but damn, really? Six whole months. Like, what'd you think of this movie? The fact that they were able to do this in 6 months, like they pulled all this off in 6 months. Like,
for the amount of cinematography and really good action shots that I've seen from this movie since we just watched it, for the time that they rushed it, you could definitely tell. But like in all, there was some really great shots that we actually like encountered throughout this whole movie.
Yeah, and we just got done watching it, folks, so it's very fresh in our heads here. But before we actually get into the movie itself, there's a couple things to talk about. For those who don't know, this movie has a cool amount of history behind it. Like, there's a couple bits of history that are really fun to talk about and always bring up when it comes to the G-Man. Okay, so as I mentioned, that there is some little cool parts of the history behind this movie, but before we even get into that, we're just gonna say this right off the bat. The version that we're reviewing is the better Japanese version because the English version, oh man, I'm glad we didn't watch that. I'm so glad we did not watch that because it is
I can agree with that.
it is awful. Like, for those of you who have not watched this movie yet, whether you're a fan of creature films or you just like foreign films in general, do not watch the English version of this. Just don't. Do not watch the English version because they, number one, Godzilla and Gearus have the same roar, which is stupid. They give them the same high pitched reversed saxophone sound effect, which is, I will admit, is cool. Frank Gearus's roar, like a reverse and reverb saxophone sound. And then, for some reason, they call Godzilla Gigantus in this movie, which, because the English dub title was Gigantus the Fire Monster. Which, okay, would you like to see that made into another movie, dude? Like, would you like to see that made into another monster movie? Literally, if they call it Gigantus the Fire Monster.
You know what? As many as the Toho movies that they have created before Raids Again, honestly, and it's not many because it's so early in the franchise, I agree with you. Asylum, the movie, they could definitely make something just like that.
And if they were to really call it like Gigantus the Fire Monster, like if they took that title and just made Gigantus into their like a whole design, like a whole different thing, like if they made up their whole design for it and they just simply named it Gigantus. But do you have that? And then also there's like, I don't know what it is about the English dubbing, but just don't ever watch it, folks. Whenever you any Godzilla fan, like if you like the English dub version, we're not here to disrespect that. If you prefer watching the English version, and that's totally fine. You know, even you get it. Even you get it, dude. When it comes to watching a Godzilla movie, you want to watch a movie, not read your way through it. When it
You know,
comes to
exactly. And honestly, from my perspective and seeing how other people have reviewed this movie is the tone of the movie is a lot better reading the subtitles in the Japanese original version compared to the dub.
oh, the dub kind of makes it goofy. Like the dub makes it silly. But in the Japanese version, there are silly bits in here. There still is. There's still bits in here where you got to look at it like, are you fucking serious? But the English dub version makes it a lot makes the ridiculousness worse. But the one part though, besides the name Gigantus, actually, you know, a little story about that. There's this toy that I used to have, this early dinosaur toy. It was a Dilophosaurus, which is the dinosaur from Jurassic Park that has the two crests on its head. The one that did the stupid cobra frill bullshit. That animal. I had a toy of this Dilophosaurus. It wasn't the one from Jurassic Park. It was the older one that stood up on its hind legs, like upright, like Godzilla does. And I used to pretend that was Gigantus as a kid. I used to pretend that that was Gigantus for some. I don't know why. I called that toy Gigantus for some odd reason. I pretended it breathed fire and shit. The original idea for the English dub version was a lot cooler. Like they had a better idea for an English dubbing. And again, this is for those who don't know. The original English dub version was going to be a movie called The Volcano Monsters, which is such a B movie idea. The title alone sounds like a B movie. Like literally, it can't get any more cheesier than that. Like calling it is like calling, you know, you got Beast in 20,000 Fathoms or Earth versus the Flying Saucers or It Came from Beneath the Sea. Like the Volcano Monster sounds like just as cheesy as that, as all the other 50s monster titles. And Toho, it was crazy that they were game for the idea. Like they were like, "Oh yeah, sure. If this is how you want to market this movie in the U.S., go for it." But Volcano Monsters literally was going to be about a Tyrannosaurus Rex and an Ankylosaur fighting in San Francisco, and they were going to remove all of Godzilla's atomic breath because they were just going to make him strictly dinosaurs. And Toho actually made suits for this. Like they made whole new suits and shipped them over to the US, but sadly halfway through making it the studio got shut down and no one knows what happened to the suits, which is insane. Like how do you lose Godzilla like that? Like how do you dude seriously Meguro, how do you feel? Like how do you just lose Godzilla and Anguirus cuz the suits literally disappeared. Like no one knows what happened to them. Like seriously, bro, how do you feel about that? They lost Godzilla. Like they
Well,
lost.
yeah, I gotta be honest with you too. Like, not many, like this happened a few times in the franchise, but this is the very first time that it ever happened. And knowing that it was shut down, this is honestly one of the this is the very first what ifs in Godzilla history. And if this movie was made, this could have been like a very dramatic change in the whole show era as a whole, and especially going from Godzilla to the volcanic monsters and they're just dinosaurs. That's a huge switch up.
Yeah, even though they said that Anguirus is a dinosaur, he's an ankylosaur. Like they do say it, and Godzilla does. Part of Godzilla's design was a mix of T Rex anyway. So for the context of that, it does make sense. But just I don't know why Asylum. If you guys ever watch this, I don't even fucking think they even watch these videos anyway. But I honestly think the Asylum would have a absolute field day making if they were to bring back the idea of the volcano monsters and just have like a T-Rex, like a normal looking oversized T-Rex fighting a normal looking oversized ankylosaur in the middle of a city. You know what I mean? Like I know Asylum would have a blast, but in all honesty, I would love to see him make that idea, like actually bring back the idea of the volcano monsters and just like, oh, it's two dinosaurs fighting in the middle of a city. Like, okay, now like that hasn't been done before. But still, it's just bringing that idea back. But honestly, dude, would you have rather seen that English dub? Because I know I would have. I would have loved to see that get made. rather than the poor Warner Brothers produced English dub version. That, oh God.
But yeah, I gotta agree with you. Maybe they would have actually spent more than just actually 6 months on the whole project itself, especially if it's located in San Francisco. You said, right?
Yeah, that's where the city was gonna be that the Godzilla and Gears would wreck was San Francisco. Which, not gonna lie, I would have loved to see them like trip and fall through the Golden Gate Bridge. Actually, like
Oh
I would have
yeah,
loved to see like I would have loved to see the Golden Gate Bridge get wrecked had the volcano monsters got fully gotten made. But I don't know. It is like a huge what if. Like this, like you said, this is the first what if for the G-Man. And yes, I am referring to Godzilla as that because, well, let's not jump ahead here. But for those of you who know where I'm referencing calling Godzilla the G-Man, if you know, you know. But let's not jump that far ahead. We're still in the 50s here. But yeah, anything else, dude, that you got to add when it comes to this movie's little part of its history here before we jump into the movie itself?
oh yeah. I mean, I basically can just say as a foreshadowing, when they say this movie was rushed, they literally rushed the film.
Oh, fuck yeah, they rushed it. Okay, so we touched on the really cool history behind Godzilla Raids Again. Now for the movie itself. Now, this movie, like we mentioned, 6 months. 6 months. Like, when you see it came out in 1955, you would think that, oh, they made this in a year, but nope. You talk about rushed. You talk about movies rushing sequels and just 6 months. Like, can you believe that? Like 6 months, they Toho really was like, oh, the first Godzilla movie was popular, as rightfully so. But now it's like, oh, let's just hurry up and get this made, and boy, does it show. Like you can tell, man, you can tell the 6 months shows in this. Like you can tell they really wanted to just hurry up and get this movie out in theaters. Like, hurry up, damn it.
I would say definitely, especially with just how the whole fight scene unfolds in general. Like it looks good. The whole aesthetic of the set looks good in my opinion for a 1955 film, but it's the actual filming is what is the really big key takeaway from a lot of parts of the movie.
Oh, especially with the fact that they're sped up. Like the fact that they overcrank the camera and they're like, oh, this looks good. No, it doesn't. No,
Yep, and it should have been at a frame rate of 72 frames per second is what it should have really been, like in a lot of the other really good shots of the good parts of the movie, or necessarily the better shots.
yeah, when they slow the monsters down and they slow the destruction down too. When yeah, the shots that are slowed down, they look good. Like the way the buildings fall apart, and you see like, excuse me, almost every individual little piece of the buildings falling apart. They look good, but when they're sped up, it looks too silly. Like I know this whole movie's silly, but it's like, yeah, what'd you say was 72 frames, right?
Yep, that is correct.
But nah, they sped it up, and I will admit though, when it comes to the monsters themselves, like slimming Godzilla down, like you can tell dude was like eating healthy or going on a diet or some shit in that 6 months because he is slim in this movie. Like Godzilla's like not anorexic, but he you can tell he lost some weight.
Oh yeah, and you can definitely tell, especially from the original Godzilla, that suit is heavy as hell compared
Oh
to this
yeah,
suit
oh yeah,
for him to
dude.
move.
Yeah, the first suit from '54, that suit weighed like 200 pounds. It was 220 pounds. And actor Haruo Nakajima, rest in peace to the man. The fact that he even performed that good in 220 pounds. And not only that, but with the studio lighting, all the real fire in front of him, like, damn. And this movie is no exception. except they slimmed it down. They slimmed the suit down so Nakajima didn't die, didn't potentially die. But there are shots of Godzilla though, with him being skinnier. There are shots of him in this that looked a little like um, goofy, to say the least, to be nice about it. They looked ridiculous, especially shot. There's even I said this when we were watching it. There's the weird shot of his head coming out of the water, and the way his mouth and head looked when his head's like he's looking up like I'm freaking out. Like just the way his head looked was just why? Like it just looked so weird. It literally just looked like this. It looked like whoever was holding the head puppet under the water just was like, "Did you see it? Like, did you see the head?" And they're like, "Yeah, we saw it." Okay, good. That's the end of the take. It's like,
And yeah, oh man, I can't believe with how well his side profile is what looks really good, but then from the front, it's like
it
they kind of
looks
have a weird
goofy.
angle.
It looks so weird seen from the front. The first movie was kind of like that too because there was a couple shots of that the puppet they used for close-ups in the first movie. That looked
Yep.
goofy too. But this one looked even worse. It looked even more goofier than the first movie. But I will say this though, when it comes to there's and you even pointed this out when Godzilla uses his atomic breath, which he doesn't do that much in this movie, surprisingly. One noticeable thing is that his dorsal fins don't glow. Like his dorsals don't glow, and you said they forgot to add that. Like you said they forgot to add in that effect of his dorsals flashing when he before he shoots.
Yeah. Yeah, and you would think it would be because of budget reasons, but no, it's honestly because they just straight up forgot, just like how they forgot to switch the frame rates for a lot of the main fight between Anguirus and Godzilla.
But now speaking of Anguirus, you know it's so crazy. Like because when you look at an ankylosaur, they're pretty spiky animals. They are covered in, they do have spikes covering their entire body, but Anguirus looks like a porcupine. He looks like a porcupine on crack mixed with a Komodo or some shit. Like, his whole thing is just, he's a giant pin cushion. His whole thing's a giant ass pin cushion. But I do love the fact, though, that they had, if I remember right, they had so many issues with that suit because his shell wouldn't stay on. Like they even used metal hooks or something. And there's a shot during one of the fight scenes where you can see it splitting, and it's so obvious. Like you even see his shell splitting and like splitting open, and then the very next shot, it's they held it down. Like, you sure you don't want to do another take of that? Like, damn.
Yeah, and with another thing with the low angle shots and in front of buildings a lot is because when he would go on his knees a lot to like work better in the suit, his actually feet were showing in certain parts, so that's why a lot of the scenes they actually started shooting in front of the building so that you couldn't see his feet from below like that.
Wait, that's why? Wait, his feet were showing? The dude's feet were
Not
showing.
a lot, but in certain angles when he was either going on his knees, it just wouldn't look right in the suit because a human laying on all fours, it's your knees and not your actual feet. So
Yeah.
it looked weird. So they're like, fuck it, let's throw some buildings in front of them while they're fighting. And it honestly kind of worked out in some areas because we haven't really seen Godzilla fighting another kaiju, and those type of shots are what really brought a lot of other famous Godzilla fights into it with using that type of style.
That's true, but this is like his first time ever fighting another monster. Like this is that first movie that started that because in his first movie Godzilla was obviously solo, and then in this one it's like you can tell Toho really wanted to like up the ante from the first movie by having like, well, Godzilla was a big threat. What if there was two monsters in this situation? Like what if you had two of them? And like the monsters are the best part of this movie. I mean, all Godzilla movies are like that. The monsters are the best parts, but the people in this fucking thing, oh my god.
Oh god.
The people in this, it's like okay, like first off, the human characters they were okay. Like, what'd you think of the actual like character when you? Sorry, I almost belched. If y'all heard that, excuse me. But like what, dude? What'd you ever think of like the people themselves? Like when you watching this movie again, like what'd you ever think of how they are as people? Like how the characters were written and everything.
Well, yeah, when you think about a Godzilla movie, you think that people are terrified and they want to run away from the scene as fast as possible, right?
Yeah. Oh no. These people care more about their job in this movie. Like I've never seen a monster movie where they care more about their job the whole movie. They're so concerned about keeping their job and shit.
They are so oblivious to the fact that there is a radioactive monster named Godzilla coming up ashore, but instead, you know what they do? They get drunk to celebrate.
They do. There's even a scene. Oh, and also, we're it's winter, but we're doing this, and it's crazy how it's winter and it's snowing where Megaro's at. Because you said, well, you're in Wisconsin, and it's snowing over there right now. And
It
in
is
this
cold and freezing. Yeah.
movie, there's a scene with snow. Like there's a snowy bit in this. So it's kind of ironic that we're reviewing this in the middle of like it during winter. But no, and then there's like yeah, the whole scene where they went to Hokkaido. They go from Osaka to Hokkaido and they're at this restaurant and they're getting drunk. They're drinking all this sake and I'm like, are you not concerned that that Osaka just got destroyed? Godzilla's out there, but no, you're just going to go to this restaurant and just eat. And what the hell are you celebrating? Is my question. Like, what's to celebrate? Your whole job just got destroyed. Like, are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, and if I had to say in that honestly, and when you asked me about how do you think about the characters, Kabayashi, I think I don't know really know the right pronunciation, but he is the actual pilot in the movie, and he's one of the main characters. He's pretty goofy, and
He is goofy,
he
not gonna
a
lie.
really good ass job acting, though. I can't lie.
Oh,
Even
that
though we
dude's.
don't,
Oh, his acting was good. Not gonna lie. That actor knew how to play a goofball. Like he knew how to play like somebody who was like he knew what he was given and he just like went with it. But then there's also his buddy Sukioka. He was okay. Like Sukioka was okay in all honesty, but Kobayashi kind of stole the show. Like when it comes to the people, Kobayashi really stole the show. And then there was like the two main women characters of the movie who they didn't really do much. You ever notice that? Like Kobayashi was the one who really did the most out of everybody. To be honest,
oh,
like Kobayashi did, and I love how you said he looked like a like if Shikishima from -1 gained weight. Like you said, he kind of looked like the actor who plays Shikishima.
yeah, and I honestly say that's like a really big comparison and reference. Honestly, they both fly planes. One of them is more experienced. Clearly, once you watch the movie,
Clearly,
you'll understand.
yeah. And but Kobayashi, he has like the most dumbass moment in this movie. He literally shoves his plane in Godzilla's face, and Godzilla just casually shoots him like, "The hell is this?" And he kills him. Like, what was the point of that? Like, what was the like? Were you trying to piss him off? Like, were you trying to piss Godzilla off? Like, what was the whole point of literally dive bombing Godzilla? Like, are you kidding me right now? Like, are you freaking serious? Like, are you serious? But nah, I just so can't believe I've never seen a monster movie where it's like they care about their job. They care about having their job still. Oh, and also there's a scene where they actually return to work. They're actually returning to work. It's like, dude, y'all should be getting paid time off. Y'all should be getting paid time off. How are you even thinking about returning to work? And it's like, oh, Godzilla's out there. But still, we gotta go to work in the morning.
And like they have no clue that, or they're just oblivious the whole time. They care, like you said, they care more about work. The scene from the factory when everything's exploding and the boss is just standing there watching it.
I know the boss was like so concerned about the fact that his factory blew up, which was a really good explosion. Like, I know I've said this in a couple of my other reviews on this channel where I like CGI more than practicals, but I do appreciate practicals because of the fact that that shit was really there. Like, I can appreciate the use of practical effects. And it's like if you're able to pull off something with practicals, then all right, go for it, right? But that factory explosion was great. Like that one building blowing up, that was a really, I bet you watching it, Michael Bay's probably he's probably pleasuring himself watching. He'd be pleasuring himself watching this because he likes to blow shit up. But
Oh,
but
no doubts about that.
oh yeah. I mean, you can't every time you see something blow up, you can't help but make a Michael Bay joke. I'm sorry. Like when it comes to a Godzilla movie, you can't really help but think that. Can you just imagine Michael Bay making a Godzilla movie? Like, can you just imagine if Michael Bay got to make a Godzilla movie? The world would literally just blow up at that point. Like, there would be
You
no world
imagine
left.
that would be insane. There'd be so many damn explosions that you'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
It would be no, there'd be more explosions in Transformers. Like, there'd be more shit blowing up in the Transformers franchise.
100%.
But nah, dude, the people are just so oblivious, and I can't believe there's another like stupid thing with the people in this movie, especially the military, where it took Kobayashi, who does the most dumbass move, to literally give the military the idea. Because the way they get rid of Godzilla in this movie is they bury him in the ice. I'm not apologizing for that. They bury Godzilla in the ice, and it's like it took an idiot dive bombing his plane for you people to get that idea. Why couldn't you just think of that in the first place? Like, why couldn't they have just thought about that beforehand instead of continuously shooting at him? Like, are you people out of are you out your fucking mind? Like, how oblivious are y'all? But, oh, I gotta ask this. What'd you think of the prisoner scene? Because the prisoner scene felt so random. That
Oh
whole
yeah.
scene with the prisoners, and I nicknamed three of them the Japanese Three Stooges because the way they were running looked like they were in a Three Stooges episode. It really looked absolutely. But the whole prisoner thing was like, oh, how do? It's like even you were thinking it. You even said it too. They just did it to pad out the movie's runtime. Like you can tell they just did it just to make the movie longer.
Yeah, it seems really extra. Like it, I mean, it does kind of somewhat add something to the movie, but like, was it really necessary?
Like
Not
exactly.
exactly.
Especially the bit where the way the prison scene even starts, and spoilers if anyone even really gives a damn. Like, I just love how the scene starts where you just have these prisoners, they're just being quiet, they're just like, they're prisoners, right? All of a sudden, and this is like six people in this freaking van, and they take down two cops without a problem. Like, are you serious? Like, how they just pull the cops down, like, shut the fuck up. Like, you make
They just want into a Godzilla movie, huh?
yeah, right? And then I just love like how they were saying like, oh, one of them's sick. Oh, again? Like again? Like what do you
What did
mean
we
this?
miss?
Like what did we miss here? Like was there a like did the dude does the dude have like asthma or some disease or something where he keeps getting sick? Like what the hell? What do you mean again? If he's sick again, why is he on the job? Again, why is he on the job? Speaking of jobs, but there was actually one good shot with the prisoners though, where you see this whole group, they're all just running, and the camera, you even pointed this out, the camera was great on like keeping track of them for that few seconds. Like you said that shot of them was like really well done.
Oh yeah, they panned it out pretty nicely, honestly. And for a film in the early '50s, yeah, they did a really good job of filming out the panning. And honestly, a lot of good scenes came out of this movie. Like one of the most iconic ones, obviously the fight itself, but the fact that Godzilla doesn't use his atomic breath. Well, he does, but he initially bites Anguirus in the neck
Oh, and
during
kills
the
him,
fight.
yeah. Like that's pretty brutal by Godzilla standards. That's brutal because and you notice like they did have a little bit of blood. They did kind of have Anguirus bleeding a little bit. So this comes to show like oh, and for those also who don't know, you'd probably be wondering like wait a minute, if Godzilla was turned to bones in the first movie, then why is there a sequel? Well, that's because in the first movie, they said that, oh, if they keep conducting nuclear bomb testing, another Godzilla would show up. So there's that. Because in the 50s, they kept going with the nuclear bomb testing. Like, they kept doing that a whole lot throughout the 1950s. So they just threw that little bit of history in there. But the Godzilla, the second Godzilla here, he has this whole like the first Godzilla was pissed off at humanity. Like the first Godzilla was like the whole I hate humans because y'all turned me into this. Now this your consequences for doing this shit. But this second Godzilla, he comes up and everything he looks around, he's like, the fuck is this? What the hell is that? Why am I getting shot at by little fire pellets? Like, what is all? Like, he has no clue where he is. Like, this Godzilla has no clue where he is, and he just focuses on Anguirus the whole time.
Yeah, and the way that he actually ended up with their whole fight, with how it panned out, he just wanted to really make sure Anguirus was dead.
Oh, and then you even kind of pointed out the first time we see Godzilla in the movie, they show him pretty early. Like they show him within like the first, I think it was like first 5 minutes, and
Oh yeah,
the way they show Godzilla just like peeking around a mountain, he's peeking around a mountain like, hey, remember me?
and that's the first time we see him a year later, or
6 months
not even
later.
a year later, until the next movie. Yeah, it's crazy how they did that, but that's his introduction to the movie.
But then you said like there's one bit of like the movie starts with a fight scene. Like it starts off with Godzilla and Anguirus already beating the shit out of each other.
Yep, and
And
it's not in a city. It is literally on a giant ass island iceberg type of thing.
yeah, that's actually kind of cool that they it moves into the city at first. Like first it's on this little on a mountain and then it moves into the city. And at the end of that fight, they both literally fall in the water. They both fall into the ocean. And you said that the reason for that was wait, what was the reason for that? The
Yeah, when you see them in the scene where they both, Godzilla and Anguirus, fall into the water, the producer and director were literally just like, you know what, you guys need to just jump into this water and we'll try to make sure if you're not drowned, because they didn't want to make sure the suits were too light and floated to the top of throwing them in without the people in the suits.
So that's why they had him like willingly just jump.
Yep,
They
they
just
literally
jumped in
were
and
like,
killed
well,
it.
either the guy keeps drowning.
Well, that's actually crazy. Is like when it comes to being locked inside of a fully rubber suit, you're inside of a suit made of all rubber and shit, and it's like, oh, just jump in the water. Like, you sure about? I can just imagine Godzilla and Anguirus being told to do that, and then they look at the producer like, really? You want us to just jump? Dude, you're only like 5 feet above the water. I don't give a shit. You want us to just jump in?
They
Nothing
were
extra,
really
none of that.
throwing it all on the line. They were really putting it all on the line for these movies.
Oh yeah, and it's well, I will say this. So this movie kind of did have some potential to be a good movie, to be better, I should say, than it is. Like not just because the volcano monster bit, but I don't know. It's like if they took a full year to make this, then it would have been a better movie. Like this honestly would have been a lot better. And would you ever think of the fact that they wasted one of the main characters from the first movie? Like, it was Dr. Yamane. They just wasted him. Like, why were you even brought back in this movie if they're only going to use you for like one scene?
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like, you got to think of like how characters really develop over time, and through movies, you'd like to see, you know, better things and better outcomes with these type of actors and stuff. Like, don't get me wrong, it is good having like certain characters and stuff, but like sometimes for this, like especially this movie, it's just like why? There's a lot of why moments.
Oh yeah, there is a lot of why moments. Like, why the hell did Kobayashi dive bomb Godzilla like a moron? Yeah, you're right. There is a lot of whys in this movie. Like, why did it have to take him dying for the military to come up with the idea to bury Godzilla in the ice? Why is Dr. Yamane only in one scene in this entire movie? Why do you people care more about your jobs? Wow, there is a lot of why questions with this movie's so questionable. This movie is probably the most. This is I. Wow, this is a. I know with these kinds of movies, folks, you just have to roll with the bullshit. But then at the same time, it's like this movie is nothing but a question of why. Like you should literally just call this movie "Why Godzilla."
Hey, Godzilla wise again.
Godzilla wise again. But no, I do gotta admit though, when it comes to the Hokkaido scene in that little like restaurant, I w- did any of the actors actually get drunk? Do you know? Did the actor who played Kobayashi? Did he actually get drunk during that scene, or was he legit just acting? Because the way he looked like he was really wasted or close
Oh
to it.
yeah, it definitely did not look like he was acting that. That looked like they were like, all right, let's get you drunk as shit and let's film you just for this part in the movie. And he's probably like, okay.
And dude, I wouldn't be surprised if was slamming, because there was some scenes where they were all slamming back sake. Like you can tell they were like really drinking that. But again, Godzilla's out there, and you people are celebrating this. Like really? There's a giant. There's a second monster that turned Tokyo into a literal radioactive graveyard, and the first thing y'all want to do is say, "Oh, let's all go out to eat. The company's paying." Like, why? Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh. Like I said, this movie, do you ever think this movie, if it was given more than 6 months, do you think this movie could have been better? Like, this movie could have been better than this.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Yeah, I'm with you on that. That if it was longer, or who knows if they stuck to the original idea of the volcanic monsters, like who knows if that would have been a huge better sellout than uh like being the sequel to the OG Godzilla movie that got very popular in Japan really quickly.
Oh, it did. Well, I mean, because when it comes to monster movie, like the first one that, I mean, there was Beast from 20,000 Fathoms that came out like beforehand, but for Japan, you gotta remember, for Japan, that kind of movie was like a fresh and new thing at the time. So of course it got like that popular because it was really something that here in the U.S. we were pulling off a lot. I mean, King Kong 1933, anybody? And leading up into the early 50s with some of these monster films, but no, Godzilla, of course, that would. And you would think though that. Oh, it just reminded me of that. I love how Dr. Yamane's character was only there just to be like the party pooper of the group, because he was all saying like, "Oh well, sorry, there's no way you can stop Godzilla. We've done what we could, but we couldn't kill him. So sorry, bro." Like that's all he's there for. Like that's all Dr. Yamane was there for, was just to be like, "Oh, sorry, sorry, bro. You can't kill him. So don't know what to tell you."
I mean, yeah, because in the first movie, he pretty much says, "Who knows if this is like the last Godzilla?" Or pretty much sums up that at the end of the first one, and then here he is in the second one, and Godzilla raids again, going, "We're fucked."
Well, it's like you're not only fucked because you have Godzilla, but then also Anguirus. Like you got two uh, giant pieces of bullshit to deal with.
Yeah, and the first time we ever seen it on film in a Godzilla movie, so it's definitely a huge change, and it went on throughout the whole show era.
I think like this like the movie that really started that whole legacy of Godzilla like being king of these hands. Like
Oh yeah.
seriously, this is like. But what was like the one dumb moment with Godzilla? Even Godzilla has stupid moments like the infamous wind-up toy,
Oh
and they
god.
and they filmed it not once but 3 times.
Let alone the army planes flying over. They just repeated the same scene 3 times in a row, and
Oh
we were
yeah,
both
they
like,
did. They're no. Oh no, they repeated one shot 3 times in a row, but then they repeated another shot twice. They repeated another shot two
"Oh yeah,
times.
Godzilla sitting on the island of all of that ice and snow is just standing there." But then we're like, "Oh shit, it's actually a wind-up toy."
You know, it's so weird that that was a wind-up toy. Like that had to. Like, okay, I understand that there's some shots you want to try to pull off, but at the same time, it's like, dude, why couldn't you just use the suit? there's just some shots where you're like, why couldn't you just film the suit for a minute? Like, are you serious? You couldn't just. But it was one dumbass decision after another because it's like, oh, it's a wind-up toy and it looks stupid when it moves, so we're not going to use it. But then the thing looks stupid anyway with it standing there. So
Yeah,
pick your stupidity. Now,
there's definitely a lot of things that like I would say about the movie that there is a lot of things they were learning as they go. Just because it is the second film in the whole franchise, they were trying out new things. There
they
was
were,
things that they
yeah.
could change better, but all in all, it's still a really fun movie to watch either way. But it's just they have all those goofy moments that make it seem like they were trying to top the first one as much as they could.
Yeah, I know it, folks, during this review. I know it sounded like we were clowning on this movie and trashing on this movie, but Godzilla Raids Again does have, it is a watchable, well, the Japanese version is anyway. It is still a watchable movie, but throughout the whole movie, you would be questioning it the whole damn time. You'd be questioning why throughout the whole thing, but it is still a watchable film nonetheless. It does have its entertainment value, especially with watching Godzilla and Gears uh, basically look like they're in a bar fight with them pushing and shoving each other the whole time. But the fight scenes are honestly like any monster movie. They're the best part. They're honestly the best parts of hell. Every scene with the monsters is the best parts of this movie. But is there anything else that you have to add to this? Because there's really not much to say about this one actually. Like surprisingly, there's really not that much with this movie.
Yeah, you know what? There is a lot of things that you could say in like every other Godzilla movie, but like knowing that this second out of the franchise, it's mostly just for me. It's just the way that they kind of just ended the movie with initially just trapping him in ice and not killing him with another bomb again, and it's just a huge switch up from the first Godzilla movie. But yeah, like you said, it's not much. It's not a long movie. Like that was what, an hour and 20 minutes.
Hour and 20, yeah, Raids Again, the Japanese version is an hour and 21 minutes, so yeah, it really wasn't that much. Hell, even the original, the the first movie wasn't very long either. It was like an hour and a half or something like that. But there's a lot more to say with that movie. But now with this one, it was kind of crazy though how the way they got rid of Godzilla is like in the first movie they just straight up suffocate him and kill him, and then in this one they bury him under the ice. Like, okay, seems a little seems a little random, but the way they bury him though is like, dude, that all those explosions they were going on for a while. Like they
Yeah,
dragged that whole burial scene out. Like that whole scene was. You can tell they really wanted to pad out this movie's runtime. Like you can so
yeah, and
tell.
comparing it to the first one, like you know how like the ending was very dramatic, the sad music when Godzilla's dying. It's a really emotional movie, and then the second one is just straight explosions, which they're cool and stuff, but they drag it out way too long to the point where the movie just ends it at that. You're like, really? They just end it like that?
And it just ends with nothing. Like literally, you go through everything going Michael Bay, everything getting Michael Bayed to just a shot of the frozen island at the end of the movie. Like the movie just literally slammed it on the brakes and then ended.
Yeah, definitely. There's no other way to put it besides it's definitely a very interesting and I guess really good for the time it was made attempt to make a monster versus monster movie.
It exactly. Now they really it now the emphasis on attempt, emphasis on attempt to try to bring this tradition of Godzilla kicking another monster's ass. Oh, hey, I guess you can say the way Anguirus died. I guess you can say Anguirus got roasted.
Oh yeah, and that's not an understatement at all. They literally fry this giant
Ankylosaur.
Ankylosaur gets fried.
Ankylosaur.
Yeah, literally they set him on fire.
And then also, I guess I gotta make this joke. I guess you can say Godzilla really cooked.
Oh, he was cooking all right. He made that into a giant Ankylosaurus barbecue.
Oh yeah, yeah, a barbecue that if you eat it, you die in like 5 minutes. Like those.
Yeah, but the Oxygen Destroyer did the Godzilla, so
Oh, jeez. You know what? It's just so crazy how it's like when it comes to this giant switch up. Now, I get it that there's nothing wrong with making a more like lighthearted tone. When it comes to doing movie sequels, like I don't mind it at all because like the first movie was very dark, all the characters were very serious, and then this movie is more lighthearted. But at the same time, it's like they could have added just a little more darker stuff in there like they did with the first movie. Like, oh, I don't know, make it a reminder of how much of a threat Godzilla is. Like, yeah, there's the one meeting room scene where they remind you how big of a threat Godzilla is, but then the rest of the movie is just like, why can't we go back to work?
yeah, and that's like honestly the key part where me and you both agree that it's true that the movie was way too rushed, and in those 6 months, they did overall come out with a legendary and classic movie, but it all in all was rushed, and it is the biggest what if they really stuck to the original script and added stuff to the movie that could have made it better ultimately.
But what do you ever think of like you even pointed this out during the fight scene in Osaka? Like there was barely any music. Like it kept doing the same thing of music the whole time, like this really low soundtrack. Like the soundtrack you could barely even hear, and it did sound pretty. That piece of music did sound pretty good, but then the rest of the movie,
Yeah, I mean, like it was like a very subtle drum roll for like the whole fight of Godzilla and Anguirus once they came up on land, and all you could hear was that soft rumble of the drums with a mix of the sound of their feet rumbling against the concrete and rubble of the city that they're destroying, and it was kind of like an eerie, like what the hell is going on moment.
it did feel eerie. I'm not gonna lie, I do agree with that. It did have this somewhat eerie feeling to it, which like they try to pull it off, but then at the same time, though, in the middle of that, the thing is that when we were saying earlier about the fight scenes being sped up, it's like some shots they slowed it down correctly, and then there's some shots where they sped it up, and you're just like, why? It takes away the impact that the monsters have because these things are supposed to be like 150 or 160 something feet tall, right? So you would think that they would, with slowing it down, it would make the monsters look heavy, like they did in the first movie. But there's shots like it's sped up, and you're like, what? Like it doesn't feel like they have no impact at all. Like it just feels like they have no impact hardly. But there is two shots of Anguirus that I have to bring this up. There's two shots of Anguirus during that fight that were just like I think somebody loved rotating Anguirus's head. I think somebody loved doing that because there's like a little bit during the fight where they take a breather for a second and Anguirus just like rolls his head twice. Like, what was the point of that now? Like
Yeah,
even
it's almost like the guy who was having a little too much fun being Anguirus for that puppet.
Oh, and then also there's the bit where Godzilla shoots atomic breath in Anguirus' face, and Anguirus just like looks mildly annoyed by it. Like he's rotating his head there. He's like, "Ugh, stop!" He's like, "Ugh."
Yeah, like he's not rolling on the floor like in pain, screaming and stuff. No, he's just sitting there like rolling his head around like, ugh, I got bugs in my face or some shit.
Exactly. That's what that looked like. I don't know. It's just Anguirus's head in two scenes, head rolling, just looks so. Oh no! And then on top of that, the one where he really head rolls, it's quick. Like that is fast. When he does it, it's like you, you like what?
Yeah, and you start to question like another reason why. Why do they have type of parts into the movie?
Exactly. Exactly. And it's so. This I also got to bring up the version we watched. It was now this movie is really in black and white. Like Godzilla's first two movies are in black and white, but the version we watched, which is on Internet Archive, it was colorized. And whoever you are out there that colorized this movie, that it was a good attempt. I'll admit. There were some bits of it that were kind of like that were off. That the color was a bit off, especially the bit where they showed just a shot of some cops on top of this building watching Godzilla come to Osaka, and the whole screen was red. Like, there's no fire in the shot, so what was that for? Like the whole screen just went red, and then there was shots where it was all blue and everything. But I will admit though, whoever you are out there that did the colorization, that was good. I am not gonna lie. Whoever did that, it was a good attempt at colorizing this movie. Not going to lie. But if Toho were to ever really take the first two Godzilla movies and put them in color, that would be awesome. Like, I actually would want to see Godzilla Raids again, in official colorized release.
Yeah, because it was really cool to see the snow part. Like, we're so used to the black and white, but you actually see the white
In the
look a lot
snow.
better in the color of the mountains in the colorized version of Godzilla Raids Again.
Yeah, so whoever did that, you did do a good job. Whoever you are, I'll fully admit that was a good job. But so overall, like this movie it's very questionable. This movie, great history behind it, potential to be better, and ended up being very questionable. Like that's the whole thing of that's Raids Again in a nutshell. That
Yeah,
so
and I have to say personally, like honestly, if you are a huge Godzilla fan, like me and you both are, I feel like it's a must watch no matter what, even if
Oh
it's not
yeah,
the
if
movie.
you're a huge fan of not just Godzilla but Suitmation, Japanese tokusatsu films in general. Oh shit, I gotta cut that part out now. Okay, sorry about that, folks. My voice kind of cut out for a second because my phone started to ring and I didn't want to get copyrighted. So, folks, I apologize for my voice suddenly like cutting mid sentence. But
It
no,
was
yeah, but no, like crazy hair boy over here was saying, it is a must watch. Like if you are a Godzilla fan, then you still gotta watch it. Even the movies that aren't as good, you still gotta give them a watch. Cause like if you're a Godzilla fan, you gotta fully embrace his legacy as a whole. Like yeah, sure, the movies may be frustrating, but if you're like a 100% Godzilla fan, like a diehard, then you still gotta watch this movie anyways. Like you really owe it to yourself to watch this one. Do we recommend it? What about you? Would you seriously would you recommend this one? Like would you really recommend this?
personally, if you want to watch the Godzilla movies in order, you know what? You might as well watch the movie. But am I gonna recommend it as a personal favorite to watch, like out of enjoyment? Not so much, but if you really want to watch every single Godzilla movie and really learn the history of Godzilla and see a lot of references that were made in Godzilla Minus One, which is for a later time, it's definitely a must watch. I'd have to agree, but all in all, I would have to say I'd overall recommend it just for the sole purpose of it being a Godzilla movie and the second in the franchise.
So you would recommend it as like if you're a Godzilla fan, then watch it just for that, just for that alone, like just for
Yep, and
Godzilla fans.
there's a lot of people out there that don't even really know about this movie besides the original because it took me up until I was 11 years old to figure out this movie was even a thing.
Yeah, I remember I watched this on YouTube. It was like back in the late 2000s where when YouTube kind of actually gave a shit. Where I saw this movie, bro. It was on. I can't even remember the channel it was on, but it was broken up into like 15-minute videos. But it was the whole movie, and it was of course the English dub version. And that was my first time watching it. I think I was like 9 years old when I first saw this. But yeah, watching it as an adult, I'm with uh, I'm with Mr. Crazy Hair here that yeah, as a Godzilla fan, I would only recommend it to Godzilla fans, but like if you're a movie buff who is into science, who's into science fiction as a whole, and like monster movies as a whole. I would not say skip it. I wouldn't say skip this movie at all, but it's like I wouldn't skip it, but I wouldn't really recommend this movie either because there's so much about it that it just could have been a better movie had they given more time to do this. This movie could have been better. So I give Godzilla Raids again. I'm sorry, I give this a low score compared to the original. I give this this movie gets a 3 out of 5 for me. Like, what about you?
I was gonna say I was coming up with the number in my head, and I honestly had 4.5 to even be generous, though.
Just to be, yeah, just being generous to this movie. Yeah, I give it a 3 out of 5. It is watchable. It does have watchable value, but it just could have been a better movie. Like, it could have been better all in general here. Okay, so hope you all enjoyed this review. I know this review is long as hell, but hey, I just thought it would be fun when it comes to doing records of Japan. I just thought it'd be fun to have a guest on because it's just cooler that way to do this. But rest assured, on as records of Japan goes along, Meguro here, he will be throughout this whole show. You will hear him every time I do one of these episodes. You will hear him. And I know a couple y'all out there will be like, well, you didn't have him when you reviewed the first movie, so why do you have him on now? Well, because I didn't think about that until literally a week ago before making this video. I did not think about doing this until a week ago. I just literally randomly asked him if he wanted to join the review for this since he's a Godzilla fan. So I just like randomly.
Yeah, I guess it works out in our best. It works out in our favor. Two Godzilla fans loving talking about this, and honestly, it's an honor to do this with you because this is my first ever Godzilla review.
Yeah, see, exactly. So yeah, we both hope that you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to like, share, and please consider subscribing because every time when you guys subscribe, it gives me the motivation to keep on doing this. It gives me the motivation to keep doing all my other reviews, and gives both of us the motivation to keep going on with the Records of Japan series here. Also, come follow both of us at our Instagrams. You got me, Megalini 2023, and then what'd you say yours was again?
Meguro Goji 1974 because that is my favorite Godzilla.
Oh yeah. We're going. It'll be a long ways down the line from now, but we'll have a lot to say about that.
They'll figure it out in the future.
Oh yeah, they'll Godzilla fans with that. If you know, you know. All right, so have a good rest of the day, everybody, and we both will see you all in when we do the next episode of Records of Japan.